like that, opening the stream with a cough. But yeah, good morning.
COVID's doing the rounds, isn't it? So
It is, isn't it?
again,
It is indeed. It's quite annoying.
so
Honestly,
yeah,
a couple of days ago I thought I was dying. But I
yeah.
struggle, me. I'm shit with illness.
Oh my, just kind of, I guess.
Proper cache.
Thankfully, it was only a couple of days for me, but
Yeah.
ever since then, every there's fucking tummy troubles. So
Yeah. But I feel better today, but this cough, mate, I just can't get rid of this cough.
mm,
Can't get rid of it.
out the honey and lemon, mate.
You are?
Loads of honey and lemon.
I know. And alcohol.
Like, Ellie there.
So I do apologise for coughing down the mic.
I didn't mind, mate.
Okay, why is my... There we go. Music's on, chat's on, lovely jubbly. Okay, guys, let's do a top down. Let me just quickly check oil. I didn't actually look last night.
It's down there.
Oh, it's down there. So I'm still in on this. I haven't got much profit left in it. I'm unsure where price is going to go now. I was expecting price to tap 80.37 and then pull back. Price is never rejected from here really, and I think this was news the other day. So news has done this. So we're gonna have to wait out. Yeah.
The bombing in Iran, wasn't it?
Yeah, but if price does come down and breaks below, I am looking at themselves below. So we're just gonna have to keep an eye on oil. I'm currently I've got an open position on one of my accounts, and then closed on the others. But yeah, so I've took the majority out around 71.10 anyway. So I had some nice profit out of that one, really nice profit, which is nice. Is my mic even on here? Might put it too loud now. That's okay. Okay, yeah. So that's what we've got on oil. Now let's do a quick top down on NAS because I think NAS is going to be another no trade day. Monthly, heavily bullish. We filled that range now on the monthly, what we've been talking about. And then the weekly's push bullish, and we've hit all-time highs. Daily, again, closed bullish, broke out. So there's nothing I can do, really. It's, yeah, it's going to be no trade on NAS. Even if you're looking at scalping, if you look at the daily, we're bullish. We've created a bottom wick, and we're pushing to all-time. Are we going to break the high again? There's nothing I could really do unless we create some sort of structure here, which we haven't done yet. Well, we have got some structure. We've got this, and we've got this to go off. 2, 3. But no bottom wick. No top wick on this 3. If I can get a pullback around these levels, either on this candle or next couple of candles. So if we can do something like this, break out, pull back, and then I would take buys above. That's the only way, really. But I'm just not sure what's going to happen today. So it doesn't really help us. So we'll probably have nothing on NAS, guys. We're going to leave NAS. We'll jump onto gold. We set up some setups yesterday, which price has just missed us. So we had 2 wingback sells on. And the first one is the actual entry, and the second one is a second entry on the first one. Okay. Now it's missed us by 5 2 pips, missed us by like 2 pips. Okay, so there's nothing we can really do. Are these still valid? That's what we've got to ask. So the idea is our wing back areas, what price tends to do, it tends to tap this level and then reject back down to this level, 3324. Now we haven't tapped 3324 yet after tapping this. So if we look at previous data and let's see if it's still valid. With that, let me just quickly do a top down because it'd be interesting to see. Because what we're after is a weekly bearish close back below 3354. If we can get a weekly bearish close below there, next week we could expect something like that all the way through to fill the range. That's what I'm after. But currently, this weekly can flip back to the upside at any point because the previous week is still respecting this level. So that means this weekly can still flip to the upside at any point. Okay. Now, so we know the weekly can flip to the upside. But the daily, if you look at the daily is broke to the downside and hasn't really filled the range as of yet. It's tapped. There's the range here. Bottom of the range. Okay. Every time we close below these levels, the body of the candles comes and fills it. Now, we haven't done that. We've closed here and then we've closed bullish. So me personally, I would expect at least another tap of 3308 because we haven't even broke a low. There's the low. This didn't even break that low. So for me, I'm expecting price to still push down to that level. Even if the weekly wants to flip up, I still think we could tap it. Okay. So if we think price could come down to tap this level again, and this is just the pullback what we've been on, okay, could we expect this pushing up and then flipping back to the downside? Potentially, because we do tap this level, reject. Even if we push bullish, we've still rejected back down to the take partial move to break even. Here, tap, reject, back down, tap, reject, back down. Okay, these ones actually came up to these levels. That's why our stops are above there. So actually came higher up. But a lot of the time, we tend to reject from these levels. However, that's why I've got a wing back on there, right? And they're on that level. However, we have got a gap we need to fill as well. So that could be another reason to come back up. So, it's a strange one because we could technically take buys up as well. However, I don't want to take buys up until I get another tap of this level. Because technically, we're still hovering between this and this. Still hovering. We haven't filled the ranges in the body of the candles as of yet. Right? So, if we come down and tap these levels, then we can look at buys for the weekly to flip back up. But we're on Thursday today, so we've only got 2 days left. So really, this daily has got to be the one to push up, then flip back to the downside, if it's going to do that, to come down. And then if the weekly is going to flip, we start coming back up, like so. So it's in a decision-making area, if you like, what can happen. Okay. But the thing I do like is we haven't filled the range fully, okay, to reject. We didn't grab enough liquidity because we didn't break this low. We've broke this low, which could be enough, but we didn't break this prominent low. Okay. We haven't had the pullback now. We've had the pullback now, but even if we drive up from this level, you tend to still reject from this area at some point. So if we've got it wrong and we are going to drive up, could we still see a rejection where we'd take partial move to break even anyway, and then if price pushes back up, we're out the trade at that point anyway. So that's my chain of thought on these two trades. And we are pushing back up, which is nice. Let's have a look at the 6 hours. So what is the 6 hours telling us? So we've got an area where our take partial move to break, our wing back sell is, where the 6 can close at, and that's probably the range we're in now. Yeah. So you can see on the 6 hours, you reject there, you reject there, you reject there, you reject there, and you reject there, and there. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 areas where the 6 hour can close respected and still reject from that level. Okay, now you might wick a bit higher up, so these wingbacks are off a higher time frame. So I'm still confident that we should get some sort of rejection. Now if we don't get a rejection from here, the next line of defense is, if I zoom in a bit more so you can see, let me turn this. The next line of defense is the second wingback entry, because if we look here, we could actually pop up to this level. Even if we're driving up, we still reject and come all the way back down to take partial move to break even. So you reject here. This one just missed us, but still came back down to the wingback sell. Reject there, reject twice there. That one's just missed us. So this is our last line of defense, basically, is this area for rejection. So that's where I'd take a second entry. My get out of this really is probably, I haven't really got to get out. It's a case of, even if the 6 hour closes, when did that reject? So the 6 hour can close all the way up here and still reject. So really this 6 hour could still push all the way up to that level, and then we could still reject. So it's a case of leaving these on, and there's no sort of get out. The only other get out you could potentially do is if the 6 hour closes above the wingback sell, the first one, like this, or like this, then if you pull back to break even, I'd maybe get out at break even. That would probably be my risk management. Yeah, but currently these trades are still valid for me. At the moment, daily. I mean, the daily did close bullish. We're technically bullish, but we know we can close bullish and then still reject with the next one. It's in an awkward area, guys. But yeah, these are still on for me at the moment. And we're coming up. 4 hour, you got 2 doji candles. Got 2 doji candles. Entice loads of sellers in. Price coming up to break the highs again, which would be perfect. You've got 2 hours left of this 4. Could we get a 4 hour bullish close, respecting the wingback area like this? And then could we get the new 4 hour, pop straight up, tap, close bearish? That would be perfect, because that now would be exactly the same as this area. Forward close, respecting. New forward pops up, activates the second trade, flips all the way down, comes down, back down to our take partial move to break even. That would be lovely. Absolutely beautiful if we could get that. But that means it's probably not going to happen for at least another 3 hours, maybe. I'm hoping it just taps and rejects from here, but I'm not sure it will. We've never sort of rejected from this level. This is what's difficult. So where price is now? Oh no, we're there. So we're up. We're at a new high. Because all this is, guys, is just high, low. This is a new high, low. That's all that is, because we haven't broke a low. And you'll keep getting that exactly like this, really. So above, Down, up, down. That's all we've had. Higher high, higher low. Going up. So I think we're looking pretty good. I'm probably going to get activated now, actually. Have I been activated? Not yet. So if we go down to lower time frames and see what's going on, so we know the 4 can flip to the downside at any point, because technically the 4 is still below this level. Technically, yeah. So the 4 can flip to the downside at any point. I'm not sure what we'll do though. I've got a feeling we're going to get a fake out. We're going to get a 4 bullish close, and then we're going to fall back into the area. And I think that would be absolutely perfect for us. If you get a fake out here, that's a very good sign that we might even come and break these lows. Okay. So what's happening with 3? So what's happening there? 3's close respecting. And we pushed higher. 2. Oh, no bottom wick on the 2. To close above. No bottom wick on the 2. Can this 2 push a bit further? 1 closed respecting with no bottom wick. Is this one going to flip to the downside? We've broke the highs now. Oh, don't tell it's going to miss us again here. 30, 15. Put my racket on. Yeah, broke the highs. Oh, it's raining. Oh, yeah, look, this is an area you can reject from. Oh, we might go from here. It might have just missed me again. Look. Let's see what this 5 does. Let's see if this 15 can break out. We want to see if this 15 can close above. Come on, get up there. Get us activated. Five. 3's flip back to the upside. There's 2 minutes left of the 3. Can we close bullish on the 3? Above. Come on, baby. A lovely one close there. Can we break the high again? That's a question. So if the 15 can break out, right? Perfect. Okay, hopefully we'll have a pop up. And if we get a fake out back into the area off the 15, you've got no bottom wick on, 2 no bottom wicks on these 15s. So if we can get something like that, that'd be lovely. That should initiate the push down. You would have had a lovely fake out. You would expect price to maybe come at least these levels. And then you're waiting for closures below them at that point. So we're looking pretty good, really. We've just got to wait. We're nearly there. Remember, this is a higher time frame trade, though. So you don't want to be looking on the lower time frame. Now, I'm only looking at the lower time frame to see if we're going to reject from that minor support level, or whether we're going to push further on. But if the 15 closes above, it looks like we're going to push further on, which is nice. So new 15 now. Can we pop up? See if we can pop up. We've got no bottom wick still. Come on, get a pop. One no bottom wick. Might be entering a bit earlier. Break the highs. Break the highs. Go on. Get up there. Get up there. Get up there. Tell it, Dan. Get up
there. Get up there. I'm already in.
The thing is, to be honest, it might reject for me. You've got no bottom wick. I think I'm just going to mark execute here, guys. What are we on? 0.35. 0.35. I'm just seeing if we can get that little pop above. Can we get a little pop? There we go. Now I'm in. I didn't need to mark it execute. We're in. We're in, guys. Okay, so I am in. I am in on sells on this. Okay. We are in on sells. My wingback's like that. Literally tapped me. Okay. My stops are 3372. My take partial move to break even is 3324. Now, it's completely up to yourself though. Remember the lower time frame, the 15. Okay. If you get a fake out back end, you should be coming down to these levels at least. You could go risk free at that point if you wanted to. But for me, this is a higher time frame trade, so it's going to take longer to play out. It could take a few hours. Might even take the next 2 days. Right? But what I've seen is the daily can tap, and if we can get a rejection on this daily, and this is just a bottom wick back down to these levels, we could be in the money. Because if this daily does close bearish tonight, it's very likely that the next day might not be a huge bearish candle, but could be small bearish, and that then would mean the weekly closing below this level, and then next week all we would need is a top wick, and then we're likely to come and fill this range, this weekly range down here, with probably one weekly candle. We could be heavily bearish next week, so that could be really nice. But it's all on this weekly candle. Remember, currently this weekly could still flip to the upside at any point. Okay. So now with the second entry, I'll just quickly explain the second entry if you're new to the stream. So we know from previous data that we can literally drive straight up to here without pulling back. So if we know this from previous data, if we start going into drawdown, you can't be panicking. You can't be worrying because we know previous data can do that. Okay? So, excuse me guys. So the way I do this, what risk have I got on this one? I think it's 10 minutes. So I've got 2% risk on this, okay? And this is on a 50k account, this one. So grand loss if this first one doesn't play out. So I've got 2% risk on this one. Okay. Actually, where there? I'll put it top. There's 2% risk on this one. Okay, so if this loses, 2% loss, gone. Okay. Now, I try and stay around prop firm rules. Mainly FTMO really, just so, because a lot of people obviously aim it to get funded and things like that. Sorry about my coughing. So there's 2% risk on this one. Now, let's say, so on gold, I'm on a lot here of 0.35 lot on this. So when we have a second entry, so basically in another area where price can reject from, which we've identified from previous data, even if price wants to drive up, it still rejects from there and comes back down to our entry of the first position, right? So what I mean by that is I've identified an area that if price wants to drive up, it won't just drive straight up. What it tends to do is up, pull back, up, pull back, like so. And what we're planning on doing is we've identified our second entry area, which is here. And then this pulls back to our entry of the first position. So what we would do with this then, if we close up these levels, we could argue, okay, we might be wrong here. Price might start pushing up with the weekly flip to the upside. So we would, if price comes up, we would enter the second entry, but I would enter the same lot size as this one. So this was a 0.35 lot, and that is 2% risk on a 50k account. So I would enter the exact same lot on this one, right? So it's the same value per pip on this one. But this one wouldn't be a 2% risk, would it? Because the stop's shorter. This would be less than half that, so it'll be less than 1%. It'll be just about 0.8% risk. Sorry, 0.4% risk on this one. Okay, which is less than half of what I was risking on this one. So if this whole trade went Pete Tong and we stop loss hit, I'd only be risking 2.4% say on this overall trade. And on prop firms you get about 5% to play with in a day. Okay? So that's how we do it. Now, once we enter this second trade, if this gets entered, this is what I do personally. And everything I tell you is on the stream is just what I do. It doesn't mean you have to do it. You should be taking things away from me. You should be questioning how I do things and see what's best for you. So the way I do it is I enter the second position, and as price comes down to the first position, I close this one at break even, taking the risk off the table, and I'll go risk free and take partial from the second one. So then we're in a trade, we've took some money out, and we're risk free. Okay, that's what I do. But it's completely up to yourself whether you like to stack positions or whatever. So that's what I've got going on, guys. So in a weird way, I would love this forward to pop up and reject. That would be lovely. So that's what we got going on. That's what we got going on. Happy with that? Any questions? You're in, Dan, aren't you?
I am.
We're in. This might take a while to play out though, because I reckon this 4 could close bullish. So if this 4 is going to close bullish, it means you've got an hour and 40 for this 4 to close, and then the next 4 can be the one what? Actually, wait there. Unless this 4 rejects. This 4 could actually still reject from here and flip to the downside, which would be fantastic if 1-4 comes up, taps, and then flips. That'd be sexy. Very sexy. But we know this 4 can close bullish. And then the next 4 then can open up, which is you'll all be papping yourself, thinking, shit, going to draw down. We're just wrong. And then that might scare you from putting the second position on. Then all of a sudden it pulls back to there. And then you're like, shit, I wish I put the second position on. I would be in profit now. And so then you won't want to close the first position because you think it's reversing, and then price comes all the way back up, stops you out. And you're like, shit! Because that's what happens.
Plenty of those.
That's what happens. But yeah, that's all we've got really, guys. I mean, I'll be on till at least 9 o'clock anyway. I want to see if I can lower that watermark. It's quite annoying. That's a bit better. So, have you seen we talk football, Dad? Talk football?
Yeah, we can do.
I've seen Liverpool being typical Scousers, trying to steal everything.
Yes.
Yeah, trying to steal
Looks
Isaac.
like we're going to get
Yeah. They've got that weight, they're trying to steal Isaac. Have you seen what Newcastle are doing with giving Isaac a pay rise?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh yeah. I think it's a really good idea, and I think they need to do it.
Well, definitely, because I think if you're going to say we'll not take anything less than like 150 mil from, and he can't just on like what's he on 120.
120 a week, yeah.
No.
And do you know who gets paid more than him? Andre Onana for Man U.
That's Man U, isn't it, when you kind of...
Yeah, I know, but it's mad though, isn't it?
It is.
Like someone who lets goals in and someone who puts the ball in the back of the net. It's like crazy. But yeah, I think they definitely need to up his wages because that's the only thing people have got over us. Liverpool could come along and go, look, you're on 120 grand a week, come to us, we'll give you 200 grand a week, 300 grand a week or whatever. That's the only thing. So I think
And
we
at the minute,
need to push the board out and get them signed up because there's nothing else out there. Morning, Krish. How are you doing, buddy?
it's a tough one because we haven't really done any major sort of first team reinvestment in the last couple of windows.
Yeah.
So I think this is probably the final chance we've got to keep with big stars. I think we've got to see some decent investments.
Yeah, we can't keep selling them. That's what we've always done.
No, well, this is it, and we can't sort of tell people that, you know, stay with us.
Yeah.
You know, this is our project. This is where we want to be. If we're not seeing regular investments, I know we're hindered by PSR, and it's the end of the 3-year cycle at the end of this month. We should be in a much better position, which is why I think we haven't signed anybody so far, and we're quite reluctant to pay for like overpriced. Like Alanga, the 160 for him, but we're offering 45.
Yeah.
And it's getting rejected. So I think it's, you know, we might see that change by Monday, Tuesday, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, but like I say, you know, these, yes, we've managed to get, you know, Champions League and we've won. But I think, you know, if he stays this season and we don't get Champions League again and we haven't sort of reinvested where it looks like, you know, we can make bigger strides going forward, and you'll be able to keep hold of him again. So,
well, I said he's not going anywhere for at least another season. At least. Like, he loves, when you hear him talk, he loves Newcastle. He's a. But it's awful to say, and you don't want them to be like this because you really like a player and you hope they're not like that, where it's about the money. I hate players when it's about the money, you know. For me, like, you're a human being, okay? Your life is no different. If you get 100 grand a week, your life is no different if you earn that 200 grand a week. You still gonna have the same lifestyle. You can still afford everything you want to afford. Yes, you might have to wait a couple of weeks to buy that Lambo or whatever, right? But for me, players have got it all wrong at the moment. They're all about how much money they can make instead of the glory. Where's the players who's all about the glory? I want to win things.
Well, this is it. I mean,
the loyalty to the local clubs just gone.
Yeah. So that's been heading in this direction for a long time. The sort of overinflated wages and agents talking in ears and things.
I think it's the agents, isn't it? Because they're greed. You agreed, the agents. The last loyal person in the Premier League, and a prime example, was Alan Shearer. He could have went to any club in the world.
Well, that's it. He could have won a hell of a lot more.
Do you know what I mean?
But he won the league.
Yeah, he won the league, but mate, he could have went to Man U and won everything with them, everything.
Yeah.
But you just don't get players like that anymore. Well, you probably do, but they're just not. They're not. It's not newsworthy, is it? It's not newsworthy. It's all about who's signing who and who's going to where and what contract they're on, and I think the players are in their own little world where they all compete and they all talk. I image them all at a party, bragging how much they all earn. That's what I image players. Do you know, like, I'm on about players like unprofessional ones, like, you know, like Jesse Lingard and people like that. And just the little
Yeah,
dweebs, the little dweebs. That's what I image.
I feel like Barton would have been one like that.
Who?
Barton, Joey Barton, I
Joey
reckon he
Barton.
was probably like it.
Like Joey Barton. Do you know why I liked him? Because he was a scrapper and he proper fought for the team. Well, actually, he's a bit.
I was gonna say, didn't he kick his wife's face in when he was
He's,
pissed? So
oh yeah,
not really.
he's a bit
Not
vulnerable.
really. Yeah.
He was a bit vulnerable on the pitch because fucking hell, you just don't know whether he's going to get red carded or something.
I can just picture him, just thinking he's more important than
Yeah.
the next person in the club or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you know who I am? It's like, no.
Yeah, I can imagine that as
Tiny little
well.
man with a move, but yeah, no, I think it's difficult because we are in a society driven by money, and the more money you've got, the more status you have, the more sway you hold. So I think it's difficult to, because I mean that's what the majority of people do, even outside of the big money sectors. If you're in a job and somebody comes to you and says, "Oh well, I can offer you the same job for twice the amount you're earning,"
Yeah.
so it is difficult. So loyalty is a rare commodity in this day and age, and like I say, you'll get the exception to the rule, but it's
Such a shame, isn't it?
you know,
It's a shame that
it is.
society's got this point where you think you should demand. Where's my LEDs now? Demand respect
More money.
because you got more
Oh.
money.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that. Oh, my
Well,
LEDs.
I always say, like, respect is something that should just be given first interaction.
Yeah.
Like, you have my respect. That if you're going to be in my life, then your job is to maintain that respect.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're going to do stuff that takes that away, then I don't want anything to do with you. I don't think respect is something that should be earned.
Yeah.
Because then it's just up to fail. It'll be given, but I hold the rights to take that away. So
you're so wise. You're so wise, Dan. My LED.
Because I'm old. Because I'm old as shit.
21's not old, mate. I need to get under my desk. You've got to have LEDs. Right, which one's this then? What the fuck is this? So that is the heater. I don't need the heater on, do we? Jesus. Whoop whoop, we're on. Yeah, I've got about 20. I've been doing the backyard. And I've got I'll send you a picture, like fake grass. And I've got, tell you what, I'll send you a picture now for 2 minutes. I'll put it in the Discord.
Let's put a pic out.
Yeah, you've got to, don't you?
Well, we're from the north. We are football mad. So
I mean, it's a mess at the minute because it's raining now, so all the cushions are like so all over. But I've just put it in the group. But you can't actually see it. But on the right hand side, there's a TV bracket. Can you see it?
did you send it on WhatsApp?
Discord.
On Discord?
Yeah, in the Meraki chat.
Yeah.
You see it?
Yeah.
So,
Nice that.
I mean, obviously my cushion's a mess because it's been pissing down, but it's a proper sun trap. Like the sun comes up left to right, so it's like south facing. So it's fantastic. But
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
you see on the right hand side there's a TV bracket?
Aye.
But that's for like a big 55-inch TV. So when the footy's on, and I've just wired in a outside plug in the far corner, you can't see it there, which comes into this office. So then that comes through the wall and then plugs in. So I've lost a plug, Dan. So that's what I was getting at. I've lost a plug. I tell you what, the struggles we have in this life, it's mental, isn't it? The struggles we have.
First world problems, man. First
Yeah.
world problems.
But mate, that area when you sunbathe, I sunbathe naked there because no other windows can see. There's no like overlooking houses. So I'm there sunbathing naked. You can't have bloody tan lines, can you?
Nah, well, I've got loads. But there's a nice little gap on that right hand side where
Where
the telly goes.
are you picking up my work here?
So I'm thinking there might be no windows, but I can peek through there.
You could, or you can just pop out one of the wheelie bins or something. Can you see that plaque on the left? Can you see it? It's underneath the heater. You might not. You can't make it out. It's a Newcastle badge plaque, and the Carabao Cup winners.
Nice.
So that's on there. And a little
Looks
fire
like
pit. It's not finished yet. I need to change the lights. We're getting like a green trimming around the top. But cozy's out, mate. When you're in there sunbathing and you're watching Netflix.
That a grill as well. A table grill.
Yeah, it's a grill, yeah.
Oh, mate. Legend.
I don't really use it.
Watching the footy. Barbecuing some meat.
Yeah, and there's a heater on the wall. And that heater, in that heater is a built-in speaker. So I could put me Bob Marley or me Pina Colada on. If you like Pina Colada. I best not sing in case I get done for copyright.
Life of a six-figure trader.
Tell you what. I'm getting.
Is that a little gnome thing as well, or is it a?
Yeah,
Santa Claus?
I never got that for being him. She really liked it. She was like,
man.
And then can you see the graph bear on the left?
Yeah, but
Have you seen what's on the table of the gnome? I've just realised it's my tannin bronzing oil.
bronzing oil, is that what it is?
Back to five. Back to five. Back to five.
Been wearing a vest at work for the last few months, and we've had like 30-degree heat, so I'm brown as anything, but I have ridiculous tan lines.
We used to call that a squatty tan in the army because if you were like obviously always a hot country, you'd have your shirt on grafting, short sleeve, so you'd just have a proper squatty tan where your arms would be red or brown, and then your body just would be white.
T-shirts on.
Yeah. If we look at this one here, there's 20 minutes left to this one. Okay, the previous one didn't break out for me, and you've got no bottom wick on this one. So, if this one doesn't flip to the downside in 20 minutes, which it could still do it, could we see a nice close back into the area, a fake out on the one, potentially. But at the end of this one, what would that be for the four? Remember what I said about the four? The four can close here before rejecting. So that means there would be 1 hour left. So let's say the four is going to close here. What would the next 2 1 hours look like? Well, if it is going to close, we might get something like, I don't know, we could get a bullish close like this now. And then could we get a doji with the next one? Potentially. So if we got a doji candle or small bearish one with the next 1 hour, that would be the forward closing respecting this level. And then could we see the next 4 just give us a pop up, and then we get a nice flip to come down? That would be perfect for us today. That would be beautiful. Could we see something like that today? I think that would be perfect. But that means it would be an hour and a half. And then how long is it going to take to get up to come back down? So this might not play out until later on today, guys. But if it does play out, let's have a look at news before.
News at 1.
1:30, yeah.
Final GDP.
GDP growth rate. 2.4.
Well, I'm hoping this just flips now.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping so. I mean, the hour, it looks like the hour could flip. There's no bottom wick on it. You've got no top wick on the previous one as well, so you tend to then get a bearish close. But you need to break the highs. That's what it's doing now. If you look at the one, if you think here, right? So, why did we reject here? Well, there wasn't enough liquidity from maybe here or maybe here. So we've had to pull back. So we've pulled back again. But we've pulled back again. We didn't even break a low. So I can't really see this drive. Why would this randomly drive now? If we were going to drive, you would think this one would have done it. Or even this one. Because this didn't even break a low. Okay, this didn't even break a low. So I'm not sure we're going to drive. If we are going to go up there without breaking a low, then the way you do it is just higher high. And you go like this. And that's how you move up. And that's not a problem because there's ways to get out. You could take another entry and you're over 50% there. You think if you... The thing what I like about this is it's ballsy to get a second entry on, especially when drawdown the first one, right? But if you think about it, if you push up and you activate this second entry and you don't like it, your nerves are shot, right? Which it shouldn't be, but when you start taking these, they can be. You only need to pull back to there to close both trades at break even.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You only need there, you're getting the profit from this one, but then you minus on this one. The issue we have in trading, we look at our MT4 and we just want to see blue, 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 because we want to boast. That's all it is, because we want to boast. That's it. So people won't want to close this one out because they'll have a red. So you need to get that out of your head. You need to get the ego and that out of your head. But yeah, if you don't like it, you tap this, you only need to pull back to this and you close both. Full. It should be break even. Well, I'm still happy with this, guys, really. It's you can't really do anything unless the 6 hour closes, which is another, well, I suppose that's the 4 hour as well. An hour and 16 minutes. So, and the 6 hour can close here, respecting, or it could actually close here, or we could close here. I think if we do close in between these two wing backs and we come back down to break even, I'll just close this at break even. Risk management, just in case we are going to drive further up. I might look at re-entering at this at level. It's less risk anyway, you're not risking much with the same lot. But I'm not sure we're going to pull back down until this 6 closes. So you're looking at an hour and 15 still, which is the 4 hour. Yeah, I said that. I don't actually think we're going to do anything until that happens. Unless the new one gives us something beautiful, and the 6 is going to flip to the downside and respect this level, and the 4 flips to the downside. But in order for the 4 to flip, if I mark up the bottom of the 4, so there's the 4 area, I'll put that purple. So in order for this 4 to flip, we'd need the next hour to look something like this. Is that doable? Yeah, potentially. Potentially. So, yeah, if the next hour does it, fantastic. That would be lovely. Well, I was talking about this with Andre yesterday, and it was a good point, so I want to highlight it today. If you're in on this trade, what I recommend you do, unless you're trading off it, obviously, close your MT4 down. Don't look at your balance. Right? Try not to look at your balance. Try not to look at MT4. You put the trade on, put your stop loss in, put your TP in, whatever your TP is going to be, whether it's the target down here at 3202, or whether you close and fall at 3324 or whatever, or you're using alerts. And then close your MT4 down and only go off TradingView. What TradingView tells you. Because we were talking about one of the big hurdles, what I struggled with, and I struggled with, to be honest with you, was greed. So, for example, let's say you're in here and price pushes down to here. You then might go, fantastic, we're definitely coming down to here. But then you look at your MT4 and think, oh my God, that's loads of profit. 500 quid's loads of profit. I'll take 400 for the day is fantastic. I'll take 400 out. So you take 400 out. Even though on TradingView, price is telling you that, well, you should be coming down to this. But because you've looked at the MT4 and looked at the profit, you think, oh my God, that's quite a lot of profit that. Especially if you've just gone up an account. So if you go from a 10k to 100k, the profit's a lot bigger. And you start thinking, bloody hell, I've never had that much money in my life. In a day, I'll just take it out. That's what gets you. That's what bites you. You need that extra profit to cover your losses. Yeah. So a little tip is just to close your MT4 down, or just minimise it. Don't look at your balance. That's what I do. I know it's on the stream now on the bottom right, but I don't have that up, and my MT4 is not up. It's minimised. I've got the YouTube over the top of it, so I don't actually see it. I only go off YouTube. Sorry, TradingView. Can we see a rejection here? Yeah. What are you doing for the rest of the day? You're off this week then, Dan? All right, yeah. Oh, okay. No, I can't hear you now if you're talking. Are you talking? Where you talking? Dan? Dan?
I was.
Oh. Where you talking? I couldn't hear
I think that's mine.
you. Yeah.
Probably my computer.
Are you off this week then?
No, just today.
Oh, just today.
So, yeah, just Thursdays for the minute. Thursdays and Sundays.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
right, so I tend to do most of my trading today, but I did catch a lovely one on G-Card.
Yeah.
But I moved myself to break even before the close on the evening, not yesterday, the day before. Took a bit of partial, and then the spread was out overnight.
Oh, really?
And it just continued going up. So, but didn't come within 30 pips of me that point. So
Yeah.
a little disappointed. But,
Hey, it's all fun and games, isn't it?
well, that's it. It is what it is.
I mean, look at Platinum. Platinum played out lovely. This is what I was expecting with oil. It was exactly the same. We had a breakout to the low. We broke all the lows. Now that should be enough to break out this wedge. Came up, broke out, retested. You could have rebought, and then boom. Oh, look at that.
Oof. Naughty.
So hopefully we'll still get that in oil, but the news the other day really affected it. So I was looking at some more sells. I was looking at sells from 80.37. Only short term sell down to 71.1. I was expecting price to come up, tap, pull back, and then we were looking at more buys here to push up. So it's scenarios wise with oil difficult because the news is really affecting it. So I think if anything now, price needs to get either back above these levels. I'd probably want the same, to be honest with you. I'd still want that tapped, and then I would look at pullback. I'd look at buys again, or that's one scenario we need to see. Or if we do drop and we come below these levels, we could sell below here. This is really clean traffic all the way down to 44. So I'd be interested in that as well. You've sort of grabbed some liquidity now as well if we did do that. You broke some highs. So you broke this high. You should have liquidity to push past this now, if you're going to push past this, that is. So yeah, it's interesting at the moment. But we're risk-free on this. It's a lovely trade. And it took us ages to get into this. It's worth it. NASA's just been a bitch. I'm going to start divorcing her. Is US 30 the same? Not quite, not all-time highs. What else have we got? UK 100. How are you looking? But silver. Oh my god. EU, look at EU. All time highs, is it? No, it's not. My bad. So let's see. Um, I mean, we had a lovely doji candle, but the thing with gold is you can get a doji and it can completely fuck you off and still keep pushing. Now, I'll show you an example here. Look at that doji. Doji. And then the monthly, boom, gone. So doesn't really mean much on gold. The thing with gold, what you need to see for change of direction is you need to see structure. So you pull back. And even that doesn't mean you're bearish. You then need to create the structure. So you've now got a structure here. And then you need another break. And then that's a sign for change of structure. However, gold, because this would be a range 1 breakout, I probably wouldn't even take that. I would then want to see that. And then I would take this one. Because that'll be range 2 breakout. This will be range 1. This will be range 2. And then that on a higher time frame is a whole sign of reversing. That's ideally what we want to see. Here's a little example. You had so you did have a range there and you had a range there. Okay, so this would be range 1. I know it's hard to see with all my lines. then you had a breakout. People would have got in on that, and then fake out. And then you had another breakout and then a fake out. So this is what gold can do. So really now, I would then need a break below that. And that technically, this would be range 2. It's only a small range. That would be range 2. You would then take that one. It sells down. And that's what I'm hoping, because I want gold to come down. I was hoping this weekly closed back in. So I was hoping that, and I said this on my streams, I was hoping we could have got a close back below like that on the weekly. And then it would have been fairly straightforward. Top wick, come and fill the rest of the range at that point. But we didn't. We closed respecting. So we closed respecting. So that tells you now the new weekly, what you're expecting. Well, the new weekly can do anything. It can still close in, but we've got to act upon what we see. So this could close doji, or this could flip bullish. Now, I'm not sure it'll flip bullish as such. I think it'll close doji, and then the next weekly will be the one what sort of drives, if you're going to do that. But the dailies look really nice to come down to fill the rest of the range. That's why I've got the sells on. Okay, because the weekly is not ready yet. But then what's happened is we had a top wick, and then we're down in them levels at the moment. So I'm hoping this weekly can close in, and it's exactly the same. You've technically had a fake out, but it just took 2 candles to do it. So it's still a fake out back into the area. And at that point, what information could you take? If we close like this, what information could you take? Well, we broke a high. We've got loads of liquidity now. Have we got enough liquidity to break through the next range? The next range is this. Sorry, to fill the range. That's the range. We've got enough liquidity to push all the way through. Okay, what has previous data told us? Can we do it in one candle? Well, yes, one. Even when you're bullish, one. One candle can come and fill this range. So if we get close like this, next week, small top wick, you don't need much of a pullback because you've got liquidity, you've broke a high. Small top wick and then a flip, which should be very bearish all the way down to 3201. So that's what I'm looking for next week. So it should be a canny week next week. But whether this is going to reject. Okay, the hour's about to close. Let's see what this hour's going to do. That's what the next hour's going to do. Which is not the 4. Do you know what movie I'm looking forward to, Dan?
Movie.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to 28 weeks later.
Yeah. I've heard good things about it. So, Archibald that I work with, he went to the premiere.
Really?
Because I think his partner's an extra in it. So, got tickets to the premiere up here.
He's an extra in it.
So, yeah.
Is he one of the zombies?
I think she was. I think it might have been like a flashback to. And I think she might live near Holy Stone or something like that, and it was filmed up there.
Yeah.
So he said it was good. So, and I liked the first one. I can't remember much about the second one.
The second one was more like it wasn't as good in the first one because the first one felt proper British, you know.
Yeah.
The second one was more like Americanized because basically the actors were American, weren't they? Because if you remember,
yeah, it was terrible, wasn't it?
America took over and they basically quarantined Britain, or certain areas in Britain, and they were sort of running all the security in that. And then it was about a sniper and 2 kids who had to like, they fucked up the two kids basically because they went into a quarantine area, and then they went to their old house. So they snuck out, went to the old house where the mum was, seen their mum, who was like, not in. She was like a hybrid. She was like a half zombie, half human. So she wasn't fully zombie, and it was like something in her genes. And the young boy had the same thing. And
Yeah.
that's what it was about. And then it was just them escaping the city before it got blew up, basically. But on the end, the ending is where you've got all the zombies running through the Channel Tunnel, and they're in France.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah. Secretly, every man wants that to happen. I'm right though, Anna. I'm right. Every man has a plan and actions on for when the zombie apocalypse happens. Every man's got a plan.
So do you have your pub sorted out where you?
Good morning, Andre. No, this is not Shaun of the Dead, Andre.
You know, I know, but in your plan, you have a pub. You're gonna go hold up.
Yeah, I was named Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah,
Fantastic, isn't it?
the win.
Yeah. No, well, I live on a port. There's a pier. I've been nicking one of them boats straight away.
Oh, 100%.
One of them
Definitely
boats.
going in the old.
Straight over to the island. Everyone says go to B&Q. Everyone's going to be at B&Q, mate. Everyone. You got no chance getting there. You just need a grab bag, which I've got a grab bag. Grab the grab bag, get it in the boat, get across to an island, and done. And that's why, like 28 weeks later, because years later, the new one, they are on an island, aren't they?
Yeah.
What would your plan be, Andre? Now that you're here.
Well, I also live close, basically by the ocean. So get a little boat up to the. My neighbour's got a boat, so we'll go together and go to one of the offshore platforms, hang out there.
Do you know what? You shit out though, don't you? Because you know what I would do really though? I'd get a boat, yes, but obviously you can't stay on a boat. You could at some point you have to get on land. You'd need to go either to somewhere like Scotland, but you want to get into what is the one thing what was made to keep people out? What do you think it is?
Army bases.
No, because they let people in to paint on Bryce Norton, paint on planes and that. No, not army bases. Castles.
Yeah.
Castles. One thing was made to keep people out. Prisons were made to keep people in. But castles, you know, so I'd be up to Scotland into a castle of some sort. Some sort of defensive position, you know.
There's Prudhoe Castle right next to where I live.
Is it?
So, good shout.
Yeah, because people won't think about that. It'll just be like boat. I just want it to happen because I want to be able to like proper rig out the van. I'll put spikes on the sides, put spears on the front, put a snow plough on the front.
What was thought if you could get somewhere like and dig trenches around? So, like you say, if you've got a castle.
So we need a JCB. Have you done your
yeah.
license, Dan?
Yeah, man.
All right.
I mean, I wouldn't need a license. I would just practice. We're in an apocalypse. Who's going to give us me license? No one's going to come and question us. There's probably more chance that I'll take the castle down with a JCB than dig a trench.
Yeah.
But you do that, dig a trench, and then you can just play music to
Get
bring
them
them to you,
Yeah.
and then get them in the trench and just set them.
At least you know
Just
that you've covered the surrounding area, haven't you? You've got rid of the
Well, that's
surrounding
it.
area ones.
If you're getting rid of them, then you know you can send little search parties out to get
Yeah.
food and things like that.
Have you watched The Walking Dead?
Not most of it, but I've watched like the first 6-7
Yeah,
seasons.
because it did start drying up, didn't it?
Yeah. It was just the same sort of mistakes they were making
Yeah.
and things like that. And you just thought, wait, you haven't learned yet, then you're never going to. You're watching all of your party die.
Have you
As you keep
seen?
making mistakes.
Have you seen? There's a spin-off to that called Fear of the Walking Dead. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I
See,
haven't seen that.
it was all right until there was a point, and we might have spoke about this probably last year on stream. It was all right until one scene put me off, and I thought they've missed a trick there. So what happened is
Yeah.
the mother and daughter they got lost, got separated, right? And when they seen each other again, it was this group was getting chased. So she had her group at this point, and the boy had his group. She was getting chased into this hospital, and then she seen her son, and all of a sudden, they were just together talk. Like there was no, oh my god, you're alive. They completely missed that. Obviously, there was other things going on with the different characters, but they just come together. And I was like, they've been separated there. They haven't even like hugged each other out. All of a sudden, they're just round the fire, just talking normal. Like they haven't done a scene where them two are reconnected, so they missed it.
Yeah.
And that for me was like, well, you wouldn't be like that, so it just put me off anyway. Put me off because that's when I knew it wasn't real.
Considering in a lot of other things, you can have things like monster flicks or horror flicks, and then you get people who meet and end up in like a nice kissing session, or they'll have sex or something like that, and you're just thinking, well, why are you doing that now? Are you running for your life, or you're trying to hide from things? Why are you doing this now?
Yeah.
That's what always throws me off. And then you can have people like meeting after being separate for years, and it's just like, oh, how you doing? Right, let's crack on. You just think like, what's happening?
The best zombie movie ever.
Continuity.
Yeah, the best zombie movie ever. It's got to be Night of the Living Dead, where she starts out in the cemetery, and then a fella has a fight with a zombie, and he cracks his head open, dies. So she runs off to a house in the middle of a field, and she goes in this house. There's another bloke there, and the zombies just surround the house, and they're barricaded in the house, and they're just fighting them off. That's a proper zombie movie. Oh, there's another one called Dawn of the Dead. Have you seen that, where they barricade themselves in a supermarket?
Yeah.
That's a
Dawn, night and day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is there? They're in a mall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen A Quiet Place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And The Quiet Place too, isn't it?
Best time to have a baby.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Best
was,
time to have a baby.
Really, how they have to be just quiet and stuff, and yeah, I thought that was really, really well done.
I'd struggle with me though, because I snore like shit. No, me.
That's it. I can talk a big game, but I know like pretty much day one, day two of any sort of monsters or
That's
zombie
you, John.
apocalypse. On. So,
I mean,
you know,
yeah.
basing a film around me, it's just me as a zombie.
Now people say like, what because people, you got these preppers, haven't you? Where if a nuclear bomb happens, they've got the bunker. But the way I look at it, right, if a nuclear bomb did go off, would you even want to survive the aftermath? Really?
I mean, the majority.
It'd be horrendous, mate.
The Holocaust we're screwed.
Yeah.
Not that many places we can go.
I would not want to be stuck in a bunker for years and years. I'd end up topping myself in the end.
Rather just have like something like a giant meteor impact.
Yeah.
And then you've got no choice anyway. It's just going to happen.
The best way to go, I think, is in your sleep. You go to bed, happy, dreaming, boom, gone. I don't know, we've gone on to death here.
I don't know. I don't know. Well,
should we talk about lying?
Zombies.
Go for it.
I think it's because I was on death's door 2 days ago.
So we all activated on gold and everything.
Yeah, so
Yeah, yeah.
it's all still active,
Yeah.
this, Andre.
Yeah.
I'm still happy with it. I don't think anything's going to happen until the 4 closes, which is another 50 minutes. But then, I don't think it'll happen straight away. I think what we might get is if the 4 can close respecting our wing-back area, we could be looking at something like this here, where you got 4 respecting, and then the new 4 pops up, taps our second entry, and then flips bearish. That would be perfect case scenario. However, on the lower time frame, the 1 looks lovely for a fake out back into the area because you've got no bottom wick. So if you got a fake out back in the area, then that 2 could potentially be the move. But I don't think we're going to get this until the 4 closes bullish. I do think the 4 is going to. I might be wrong. The 4 can still flip to the downside, but I think the 4 is going to close bullish here, and then the new 4 is going to be the one that comes down. Unless I'm totally wrong. And price is going to keep driving. But I don't know if you were on the stream when I was saying, if we look at price, what price has done, this is the only one what broke a low here. So that broke that low. So there's some liquidity here. So then you would expect if price was going to drive, you'd drive probably on this one. You'd keep driving. Had a little pullback. Okay then, well, we're going to drive on this one. We still didn't drive. We had a pullback. Didn't break any lows. This didn't break a low. This didn't break a low. And then we broke a high and we still didn't drive. So we pulled back and we still didn't break a low. So this tells me that I can't really see this just driving straight up, because why didn't these ones do it? Why didn't this one do it? Why didn't this one do it? And why didn't this one do it? So I don't think it's going to really drive up. If we are going to move up slowly like this, which we can do, then the way it would happen is high, 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 low, high, 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 low, high, 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 low. And at that point, second entry, we only need to come back down to break even halfway to get out. But yeah, so what I'm saying is basically I'm not sure we can drive up. I think we need to break some lows, even if we want to drive up for the weekly to flip to the upside. This is what I'm saying. I don't think the weekly can flip to the upside without breaking some lows. So that's why I've got the sells on, even though the daily's closed bullish. It's crazy how we trade, isn't it? So yeah, that's my chain of thought, mate. But it's a longer time frame trade, this, because technically it's off the daily 6 hour and 4 hour for rejections. So it might not happen today, could happen tomorrow. We'll see. I'm hoping it happens today though. Let's see.
Late. We'll see. All right. Well, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Probably.
Yeah. No worries. I'll be on tomorrow again. Yeah. No worries, mate. I'm only on another 15 minutes and I'm gonna call it myself.
Have a good day, Andre.
See you later, Andre. Stay low, move fast, stay led, stay alive. I'm going to I've got tail end respite for around Halloween, because I've always wanted to do, and we just haven't been able to do with Taylor because it's hard with a wheelchair and things like that. I've always wanted to do you know, like the Halloween sort of like walkthrough. People put events on. There's a big one in Liverpool where you walk through like a park, and they've made it like people jump out at you and things like that and scare you, like a scare fest type of thing. So I'm gonna book one of them for Halloween for the boys. See if I can really shit them up.
I like it. I like it.
Emma's the worst. Emma's a nightmare with stuff like that. I took it to Black. Have you been to the Blackpool one? I don't know what it's called.
Oh, no.
House of Terror. You walk through and you've got like, who's the guy with the hockey mask on, the chainsaw?
Jason Voorhees.
Someone like that, yeah. Yeah, that's it, yeah. You got him chasing you down the hall, but obviously he's an actor, and it's, it's not really him, Dan. But he chases you down the hall. But the way they've got to be is like mad, because people like Emma, she just freezes, just goes like that. So she stands still. So you're like, come on, he's got to chase us here. he can't get closer to us until. So
The
it's,
way run.
and then there was you remember Hellraiser, or the spikes on
Yeah.
the head. He was in there as well.
Are
I
you
think.
frightening her all the time?
Oh yeah, mate. But I have to be careful because she's got a bad heart.
Oh, good.
So you've got to be careful
Yeah.
here. But mate, I can fart and she'll jump.
Oh,
Do you know, like when we're watching a movie, I could fart and she'll jump. Like
jeez.
she's
Oh.
so jumpy like that. Or the
Yeah.
dogs.
And that's freaking, I imagine.
Yeah, Mr. Winston fart loads. If he does a loud one, she'll jump. Oh, what was that? That's funny.
That's mean. But to be fair, I do it all the time. Scare everyone. If I can. If I know somebody's not watching
It's
it,
funny, isn't it?
I'm a creep.
I love scaring the kids, mate. I got my, especially my teenage boy who's 16, because he's
Yeah.
like, he's the one who'll wait outside of a door and he'll go boo, and he'll scare you. So there's one time I was under his bed for ages, mate. So he's in bed for ages. I thought, I'm gonna get him back here. He was younger. I think he was about 13, and he was just like singing and dancing in his room. I just grabbed his
Yeah.
ankles, mate. He just shut himself up. But the scariest one, right? It was perfect, absolutely perfect. So imagine in the middle of the night when all the lights off in the house, and you're coming up the stairs, and you've been downstairs to go to the toilet because we have toilets downstairs. So you've been downstairs
Yeah.
to the toilet, or you're going to go grab a drink or something. So I'm at the top. I've got my dreads as well, right? So I let my dreads out, and I'm at the top of the stairs, right, on my back like that. So
Right.
so basically, if you're at the bottom, you couldn't see me because I'm on the landing. But as you start coming
Yeah.
up the stairs, I go onto all fours. Not like the crab, you used to do the crab.
Yeah.
I go onto all fours, and my hair's hanging, my dreads are hanging, and I just go, "You're all going to die tonight." And they proper shot themselves. Proper like had a heart attack. They're like proper shaking.
Get in. Oh. Man, all this stuff is character building.
Of course it is.
It's character
Of course it is.
building.
Of course it is.
It's awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I love just hiding behind things, and sometimes you don't even have to say anything. It's just your presence, because people don't expect you to be there.
Yeah.
So, those are the best ones. But, yes, I'm a wind-up merchant. That's what I've been told.
It means you're a happier person.
Well, that's it.
That's what it means.
Just keep people on their toes.
The happiest
That's the
people are the
best.
people who are winding up others.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't agree more.
Oh my god.
How long are you staying on for?
10 minutes. It's no point staying on really. This could take all day.
Well, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I'm just worried about this news really at half 1. That's about it. I'll have to have a look at half 1.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of it as well.
I've only got the reds highlighted on this one. I haven't got the oranges in that. So,
Alright. Well, sometimes I look at Forex Factory as well. So on Forex
yeah, that's
Factory,
one that I use.
so on my FX book, there's loads of reds. Right, it's got all sorts
Yeah.
in there. But on Forex Factory, it's just got the most important ones. So the final GDP, unemployment claims. That's all it's got. I have one. You've got FOMC, Barker Speaks, FOMC Daily, pending home sales. That's about it, really. Forecast. What are we forecasting? Previous 245. So we're looking at a drop in unemployment claims. So it's not far off, really. So I'm not sure how much. I really don't know what's going to happen with that news. See how we're not moving now, Dan? We're hardly driving, aren't we? We know why, because a lot of people get frustrated. But why are we not moving? Why are we not moving? But we know why, because we know the 4, it's got nothing to close at. It's got no support. The support's here. So I'm not sure this 4 is going to drive. I think it's likely it's going to close respecting. That if it's going to do that. It's the last quarter of the 4 now, so yeah. So we're looking pretty good. What do I need to do today? What do I need to do today?
I don't have a lot, so just gonna do a bit of tidying. Maybe it's a bit of washing, but I haven't got that much washing to do. So yeah, might be a chill day.
Chill day. I think my dryer's packing in. Now you mentioned washing. Bloody dryer. Tell you what, one thing I couldn't live without now is a dishwasher.
Yeah.
I mean, if mine broke, I'd just get a new wife, you know. I want to joke, guys. I'm not sexist. I'm just being sexist. It's a joke. It's a joke. I couldn't live without my dishwasher. I used to do the dishes as a kid. Used to hate it. We used to take it in turns to do the dishes in our house.
Yeah. I don't mind doing the dishes.
I hate it. It's when your hand's in the water and all the food's in there. Because no one scraped their plate.
Yeah. Wait, your current partner, she's got a dishwasher, but for some reason, I'll load it and then not put the dishwasher on, and then the dishes just pile up in the sink. When I go over,
So you do it anyway?
Yeah. So I'm just like, right, well, you've got dishes in the sink. It was like, what condition's the dishwasher in? Is it clean or is it dirty? And either way, if it's clean, I'm just like, well, why isn't it emptied? And why aren't these dishes in there? So I end up emptying it and then filling the dishwasher and putting it on, or it's dirty, so the dishwasher goes on and I hand clean the ones in the sink.
Yeah.
But
the struggles of life, eh?
Oh, well, this is it. This is it. I'm definitely more domesticated.
The struggles of life. Hey, what do you think with Iran and America? You got your kit ready?
It's fucking mental. The kit for going over there.
Yeah. No, the ceasefire now, like. I think Iran have seen their balls now. I thought, shit. If they can knock out our nuclear power with a couple of bombs.
Apparently, I just saw something on the BBC saying that.
Oh, it must be true.
Well, this is it exactly. It's the BBC. It's the most trusted one in the UK. So apparently, they're saying that it's actually only set them back by a couple of months.
Yeah.
Or did I send you the video on Instagram of Netanyahu?
I may not for ages, mate. Probably.
Might have sent it to you. If not, I'll.
You have, again. Yeah. I'll watch it later.
It's just a quick video, and it basically goes from 2025 back to 1995, where every single time he's saying Iran are about 3 months a year away from having nuclear capability.
Really?
Each time, and this goes back to 1995, and at one point he's saying within a couple of months away from being able to produce 10 nuclear weapons a year. That's 250 in a decade,
Yeah.
and this was back in like the late 90s.
Yeah.
So if that's not an agenda, considering they haven't got nuclear weapons, they've signed the Non-Proliferation Act, so we can go in and we can investigate, and every single investigation is saying they do not have nuclear weapons, or they're not in a position to do that. But for some reason, Netanyahu is saying that they're pretty much there. Give them the chance, and they've got nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
But
So do you reckon it's all
Israel,
an excuse because Iran is supporting Hamas and it's just a reason to?
well, this is it. It looks that way. To be fair, back in the 80s, Israel were urged to sign the Non-Proliferation Act as well, to say that they wouldn't have nuclear weapons and that they wouldn't produce them, and they've refused every single time they've been asked.
Yeah.
So, and Israel have nuclear weapons, said between 40 and 400 nuclear weapons. So, you know, it's a big thing for the West to say, like, no, you can't have nuclear weapons to the Middle East,
Yeah.
because this is where all the terrorist groups are. And yet, everywhere else, really, Britain, France, US, Russia, China, they've all got nuclear weapons. And within history, there's only been one nation to ever use a nuclear weapon. So, you know, and given that, all the destabilization that the West has been a part of in the Middle East, is there a well, I mean, who is the terrorizers, really? And if you go back, it's America. So,
Yep.
you know, it's disgusting, really, but this is the way that we are as a species. Unfortunately, we like to talk the big game about peace, but I think it's just a pipe dream.
Yeah.
Peace. You know, when you've got companies who are profiting from war and are profiting from pandemics and things like that, then, you know, it's a perpetual cycle that we're in. You know, and if you look at the most recent, the bombing in Iran, it's Lockheed and Martin are providing the airplanes and things like that, the jets and stuff like that. So their stocks are rising. So,
yeah, I hear you, mate.
It's a because at the very, very core of it, you've got corruption at the highest levels, and it's us as people who have to basically pay the brunt of it with lives.
Yeah.
And you should know fine well from being in the military. You know, you are sent places under the guise of certain things to protect the world and our way of life from dictators and terrorists. And, you know, me personally, I've never been a fan of military. I couldn't do it. For one, I couldn't be in the military. So, you know, I don't
Chef.
urge anybody who wants to be in the military or slander anybody that's been in the military, because it's a tough decision to make.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think if we were back in the 40s, then yes, I might have felt differently about signing up and joining the war, because we were fighting for people's livelihoods. There was somebody who was murdering millions of people and wanting to take over Europe. So I think that was probably the last war where it was actually to protect. I think since then, it's been under the guise of protection, but to gain something, to destabilize places, to install government so we can get cheaper resources and things like that. So it's it's difficult, and it's shocking because again, a lot of good people are losing their lives for these fucking elites that are running things and making decisions and sending people off to die.
This is what's
And
hard.
then-
Like to
Yeah,
I would not fight under Starmer at all, because the thing with Britain, we are in no position to fight overseas at all.
yeah,
We are not an army anymore. We are a defence force, right? We're so small. Russia's lost more men in Ukraine, lost more men in the UK than we've got in our army. Do you know what I mean?
and it's mental.
So,
Mental.
and we are getting invaded now. We are infiltrated to death with these illegal immigrants. We've got our own battle to deal with on our home soil. We need to sort that out first before looking overseas. We're not the power we used to be at all. So, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, on the whole sort of Iran front, I mean, if we allow America to bomb the Middle East, if we allow Israel to do the things that they're doing, then what message does that send out to everybody else when we're saying to somebody like Putin, take a step back? Why are you wanting to take Ukraine? Because as far as he's concerned, Ukraine is part of the old Soviet Union, so it's a part of Russia.
Well,
So
he more wanted it because he had a deal with NATO to not push east, and they kept pushing east.
yeah,
And he's like, I can't let you take Ukraine, especially when he's got pro. It's like our Brexit, 50% are pro-Russia. They think they're Russian,
yeah,
and they've been getting tortured and murdered. Well, and this doesn't go on our news by pro-Ukrainians for years.
was it propaganda?
And he's looking after these people. So I actually don't blame. I'm not a Putin fan at all, but I don't blame him going in on Ukraine. I think NATO are the bullies at this moment on that. The Iran and Israel things, it's a bit more, for me, it's a bit more difficult because it's like a double-edged sword. There's pros and cons on both sides.
Yeah.
I don't think Iranian people are bad. I think it's the regime. Iran used to be a thriving country, very Western. It used to be very Western as well. I think, and then this the regime what took over enforced Islam and made it very strict. And I think the regime is not the right people. However, we've been down this route loads with Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi, places like that.
Well, this is it. Iraq and Libya and things like that, and it's.
But I actually think
we
this is a regime what actually need taken over. But it's hard to believe things in regards to nuclear because so you've got Iran funding Hamas and all these so-called terrorist organisations. All the money leads back to Iran. It's about Islam, isn't it? The overall picture is about Islam.
Not just that. Saudi.
Yeah. Well, Saudi's a different kettle of fish, isn't it?
A lot of investment in the Middle East as well.
Yeah.
So, and Saudi and America are in cahoots. But, and I mean, there's so much Saudi investment in pretty much everything we do here, media-wise in the UK and things like that. So the investment from the Saudis are all over the world. So, and it's well, this is it. It's the hidden politics behind everything.
Yeah, that's it. You don't know.
As the little people, we only get shown a small percentage of the bigger picture. So we make then decisions based on that, which is why, we sometimes are eager to say, right, well, we need to get in there and protect or get rid of a certain regime and things like that, and whether or not that's going to be the best thing for the country.
Yeah.
Or, you know, if we don't get involved with men on the ground, we are sending weapons and we are arming people. So we are arming militia to overthrow regimes, but then we're not happy with the militia taking over.
Yeah.
You know, it's very difficult, and like I say, if you're not well informed, which the majority of us aren't, then you know we don't know what's truly behind all of this.
Mm.
So,
Dan for Prime Minister. Dan for Prime Minister.
For one, I think the first thing I'd be doing is telling fucking Trump to get fucked.
Well, he's done us. To be honest, he's trying to look after us, even though he hates Starmer. I mean, you think if we were still part of the EU, is it a 10% tariffs they got, and we only got 5%? So if we were still part of the EU, it would have been 10%, or was it 20%? I can't remember. But so we got a better deal. I just think Starmer's not the man. We should not. I don't get how we still send the money abroad. This is what I'm baffled with. How are we still sending money abroad when we are in bits at the minute? It's mental.
Again, I think it's, you know, we're not informed enough.
I think we still have our empire head on, that we're still the police of the world, and we still can police things. And like Trump didn't even tell Starmer about the attacks in Iran.
Well,
that would never have happened. That would never have happened if someone like Thatcher was in. You know what I mean?
Didn't we have to be known? I'm sure there was something that I read where we had to be notified of what was going on. It's not like they need to ask us for permission.
Yeah, but
it's
notified.
Just basically saying this is happening.
Yeah.
Whether it's something to do with airspace or what.
Yeah.
But
you think them two are not working together? So Britain and US have always worked together. The presidents and the prime ministers always talking. Trump can't stand Starmer, and Starmer can't stand Trump really. So how often do you think they talk on the phone? Probably not that often.
And to be honest, I can see it as more of a. I honestly don't think America looked at Britain and say, right, well, they're a decent ally. When you've got, you know, what's his face, vice president, coming out and saying, you know, we're a little country that hasn't fought a war in.
Oh, JD Vance.
88 years, Vance. Yeah. So yeah, he's belittled.
He didn't. He's a typical annoying American, him though. I don't like him.
But this is, well, I mean, he's a hypocrite, because he's already been videoed from years ago saying that he doesn't like Trump, and he thinks he's an evil man who's going to take America down the wrong and dark path. Yet he's vice president to him, and he's probably along the same mindset as what Trump is now. So whether or not he's just reiterating things that they've talked about behind closed doors, in saying that we're a little nation that hasn't really participated in any wars, and we've sent in thousands of men to the deaths to fight in the Middle East for America's fucking conquest. So, yeah. I don't like any of them. I think they're all.
He's a bit sleazy.
Who are interested in self-gain.
I hate our government, mate. Our government is disgusting.
Our government's been disgusting for years.
Yeah. We need a massive change. Because I had this argument with you the other day. I was talking to someone the other day. Who was it? We were talking about reform. And I was like, the issue we've got is, you might not like all the reforms policies, but they have the best policy on our biggest issue. right, which is the immigrants, right? And Labour and Conservative, it's always been Labour Conservatives, and they have proved to us that they don't work. So they don't work. So the only other option is to try something new. That is it. Because we've done Labour, we've done Conservative, we've got to try something new. And the only thing new to do is the group who have the best policy on our biggest issue, and that's the asylum seekers, the illegal immigrants. So yeah, that's our only option. It's our last. This is our last chance, really. I'm really pissed off with the government though, where because the petition went round for a referendum and hit millions in days, and now what happened.
Yeah.
Now I
just
thought
think
we are meant to follow the rules of the law of the land, and aren't they meant to look at that? And that's what does my head in about our government. They just fuck us off. They don't actually work for us. We live in a world where to be Prime Minister, it's just a case of they want to be Prime Minister to beat the other people because it's an ego thing. I'll beat you. I'm Prime Minister. I'm not the right man for the job. So the right man for the job doesn't get the job. Because the right man for the job shouldn't come into that job with an ego. And our political, the way it's done, it's all about the ego beating the other party. And we're too busy slagging off other MPs, right, and other parties, instead of actually talking about what's fucking best for the country and for the people.
Yeah.
We're too busy slagging each other off. Oh, the last party done this, the last party done that. Like, what are you doing to help? And you don't get a straight answer from them. They're all trained to not answer the question. Did you know the worst person, I think, in politics, and this is why London is in such a shit state? Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London.
Yeah.
He made, when he was getting questioned about the grooming gangs, the way he was disgusting. He should have been sacked on the spot. He would not answer the question. He was just going around the world saying, can you just explain what do you mean by grooming gangs? I don't know what the lady means. And she was like, you know fine well what I mean. How many grooming gangs in London? He just wouldn't answer the question. He's disgusting. He's a disgusting human being. He needs out. You need to get Ant Middleton in. Ant Middleton was going for Mayor London money. No, the SBS guy from TV.
Yeah.
I thought you guys were going to log off.
Hello, Andre. No, we're talking politics.
I mean,
Once we get into politics, me and Dan, that is it.
That's it. Yeah.
We lose viewers, like, but we're in it. We're not bothered. We're on it.
I think there's a big rhetoric for years now on immigration specifically, when our country been on immigration.
Yeah.
We are all immigrants. But, you know, I just it always gets me, because that seems to be the only thing that people want to talk about is immigration, and that's what's wrong with this country, when the last government that we've had through a pandemic and things like that have lined their own pockets at the expense of families losing people and not being able to grieve people and not being able to have funerals and things like that, where people
are partying.
And they're partying and becoming multi-millionaires, if not billionaires, at the expense of all of us. But they smoke and mirrors, they bring up, because they know this is what causes divide in people. And if people are divided and not looking at each other as friendly neighbours, then we can get away with doing what we want behind the scenes, because nobody's going to be paying attention.
Yeah.
And people are going to be fighting each other on the streets because they think people are coming over here to steal our jobs. People are coming over here to take our position in the NHS. This is why I can't get a doctor's appointment and things like that. All the while, underfunding and mismanaging the NHS is really probably one of the main core reasons as to why it's failing so badly. You know, so I think because it causes such a stir in people, and this is what it does. And I honestly don't believe that it's the biggest problem that we face.
See, I do. I think it's the.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. It's not that. The biggest problem is the way the political structure and the way we do our politics in the country. That's the biggest problem. Because to become prime minister, you have to have had a silver spoon up your arse all through your life.
Yeah.
No normal. I couldn't be prime minister. No way they would let me be prime minister. Right? I think the whole system is fucked. As in, it's all backwards. Like Reform had loads of votes, yet they got like 2 seats last time. How does that make sense? They got the majority of the votes or whatever. And I think the politicians are fucking idiots. What it is, the issue we've got is you can't have politicians. You've got to have business people. And I think America, whether you like Trump or not, what he's doing with the Doge, who's going in and auditing all the government spending, they're all business people, all numbers people. That's what you need. You need a Doge style system here in the UK, because all the spending's going the wrong places, right? And then you come on immigration, because what's happening is the spending's going to immigration, is in regards to the putting them up in hotels. I mean, the new announcement about houses, they're going to build loads of new houses, but basically it's to put all the immigrants in. Yeah. So, and then that's a route. That's like the root of all the other issues, because they're overpopulated in the UK. And the NHS, but I do have an argument about the NHS. Is it underfunded, or is it overused? But then, is it overused because we can't get a GP appointment because we're overpopulated for the amount of GPs, and people don't want to become doctors anymore because you've got all that debt, credit debt, student debt. It's just not worth it.
Oh yeah.
So we can't get doctors.
Well, this is why when we were part of the European Union, we would get young doctors and things like that coming to the UK, but you have to then get all of these factors that like complement each other. So if you've got anti-immigration sentiment, anti-white sentiment, then you know people who are of a different ethnic race to somebody who's white, then you have these like, oh well, I don't want to be seen by this doctor because they're black or they're brown, or I want a white doctor.
Yeah.
You get this sort of thing. So when the rhetoric surrounding society is divide, and create these gaps between races of people, rather than just saying we are all people of this planet, we are all people of this country, work together to better each other. It's not about that, because that doesn't get you what you want. And what you want is divide so that we can progress our agendas. And I think a lot of it is orientated around that. And this is why you've got people becoming billionaires. You've got, well, basically, you've got, or you had Farage for the referendum saying, you vote to leave Europe, we get 350 million for the NHS every week or every month. We can have sovereignty back. We can control our borders. Has anything changed?
Yeah, but that's because we got a pro-Europe government in. So we were meant to leave Brexit, but then Boris Johnson left, didn't he? So we were meant to leave Brexit and then sort it out, and then we got a Remain government in. That's why nothing's happened. That's why we've still got. He's done deals with the EU again. We've sold our fishing fucking waters to the French. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, some countries and things like that.
You needed if
was
Brexit was going to happen, you needed a pro-Brexit government in order to do it, and we didn't get it because.
But
Well,
and that is because it was clearly obvious that we had been lied to.
mm,
So everything that sparked the whole referendum and what we would gain and what we would control was all bullshit.
yeah,
And people could clearly see that as soon as the referendum went through, because people started backtracking on what they were saying. So then it's like, well, hang on, we don't have any confidence that you can actually take us forward on what you are saying. So we will go for the next best option, which is the only other party that you can really go for who didn't want to leave in the first place.
yeah. That's why we haven't. That's why we've been fighting a losing battle with the government.
Because we are fighting ourselves.
Yeah.
That is my big problem, is that we are basically pitted against each other.
Yeah. I mean, to
It's
be honest,
just-
loads came out for reform. At that first referendum, loads voted. I can't remember what it was. And it was like stupid how many seats they got. But because obviously
Yeah.
Labour have got more seats already, then obviously they come into power. That's the only reason. But if it just went off, this is where they need to change the system. If it just went off pure votes, majority votes, then reform would have absolutely smashed it. Well, they'll smash the next one.
Just like reform and having the head of reform as someone like Nigel Farage, how anybody can trust somebody who says, don't want to be a part of Europe, want everything to be all about the UK and have everything here, yet has assets abroad, has banks abroad, so doesn't pay taxes because everything's held abroad, so nothing goes back into this country from him. And he talked about, like you say, immigration and not allowing people to come in, but then, going and speaking at a conference about like economic immigration and letting people in who've got money.
Who would you have over him?
Who would I have over him?
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I wouldn't go reform.
Who would you vote for?
For me, I always vote Labour.
Oh, fuck off, Dan. How can you vote Labour again?
I have to. I'm not in a position where I believe the Tory government are going to do anything for me.
Yeah. Well, but then again, Labour. So for me personally, and everyone's obviously, this is why I love having political chats, because everyone has their own opinion. It's great to see all the different opinions and
and this is what makes it good. This is what makes it a democracy. Is that people are different. We are all different, and we all have different views and different things that we get passionate about.
Yeah.
And things like that. So for me, like I say, even if I certainly don't like the Tories, and I'll never vote the Tories unless I'm a millionaire and they're going to make me better off as a millionaire, which again, I would happily pay me taxes for Labour if there were taxes when I'm a millionaire.
Yeah.
When, not if, when. But even if I don't like Labour, and I don't like, but I would vote, and I did vote Labour, because I would rather vote Labour than not vote at all, and then have the Tories come in, because then there's absolutely nothing I can say as to why and against Tories coming in, because I've played no part in stopping them getting into power.
Yeah.
I will always vote Labour.
I can't vote Tories or Labour ever again. I think they've absolutely destroyed the country. I really do. I think they've absolutely killed.
it's only been Tory Labour.
No, that's what I
Tory
mean.
Labour
And they haven't done
for so
anything.
long.
I think we need a change. We need something new, fresh ideas. We need a whole new system shake up. I
Yeah.
like what's good to
Don't
see
think that's
if you watch how Reform are dealing with the councils, the local councils.
Yeah.
They're doing a really good job, and that's what I like to see. I think if you
Yeah.
do the little things right, it builds up to something beautiful, and it's a good test to see how Reform are handling a bit of power with the local councils. So have a look at what they're doing in the councils. They're doing a really
Yeah.
good job with the councils. But no, I'm going to shoot off now, Dan. Because Taylor's just woke up, so I'm going to
Okay.
deal with Taylor. But I love chatting with you, Dan.
No worries.
I miss you, on these streams. We don't even talk trading, do we? We just
No, not much. The important stuff we'll get in there.
we'll get in there now and again.
Nice little
So I'll do.
chat.
So guys, a quick. I'm going to jump off now. If you're watching on YouTube. So like I said, a longer time frame trade. Price can do anything at the moment. I have got this second position on. I will be taking this second position. The second position, once we tap, come down, I'll probably close this one at break even and then go risk free here on the second one. And then we're risk free to come down. If price comes all the way through, then price comes all the way through. So that's what I've got going on. We'll go over it tomorrow as well. Keep an eye out in the trade IDs if I change anything. But other than that, we're still looking good. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
I'll see you next week.
Catch you next week, Dan. Toodaloo, guys.
Have a good weekend, buddy.
You too, mate. Catch you later.
See you later, bud.